Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another live stream. Just chilling with some tobacco today. No
Just
beer.
tobacco, no beer.
No, we're not doing alcohol. Our drug of choice tonight is tobacco.
I'll make up for you and I'll drink a bigger one then.
You do that.
If it doesn't fucking explode everywhere.
Ah, that's better. So, hello, Tim. Welcome to the show.
I've just noticed my camera's got all of the background in it. Let's move that a bit closer so that...
Quick, spy on David's housekeeping.
Well, no, they just get to see all of the background, like my video feed onto Discord that's behind me. So it's not ideal. It is what it is. What have you been up to this week then, boy?
Hey! Hello, Jerry! Yeah, the heat, isn't it beautiful? Not.
It is how hot is it where you are?
Hell.
How hot is it where you are? Paul, that's made everything worse.
To be fair, mate, we've dodged a bullet. Most of the time when you guys have been cooking your nuts off in a heat wave, here on Butte it's been like a reasonable 20-something. But today, fuck this. It's ridiculously hot. I've had the curtains closed on all the rooms to try and cut down on the heat gain.
There we go, that's better.
But it's been insane. How's things in Northern Ireland, Jerry? Bloody cooking. Oh, he's 23. That's not too bad. Fucking hell.
I got in my car thermometer after work was reading 32, and that was on the drive home.
It's about 120 fucking 3 here.
I mean, where I live isn't too far up the road from that record temperature just last month of 40.3 Celsius. Fucking Jesus.
No.
I'm glad the office has aircon.
I'm out. Pass. Done. Oh dear.
Hard no.
So, hello everybody. What are we going to be doing tonight? Well, the stream will follow some common format features. For those of you who've been here before. The first thing David and I will do is discuss what we're going to be hobbying on if we get a chance to do any hobby. Then we'll talk about what we did at Gaming Club this week. In terms of main topics, we got a couple of things that we're going to chat about. We're going to discuss a couple of new games that are coming on the horizon. And then I've got a couple of YouTube vids to flag everybody with. Well, one YouTube video and then something that I found on a YouTube video and I thought would be quite good to share and get everybody in on board with.
Are you learning things from the internet, old man?
I am. That's the only place I do learn anything from now.
What is this sorcery? Who learns things from the internet?
Me, apparently. The only thing I haven't managed to learn from the internet is how to make my computer work reliably. So when you say technical difficulties, Tim, OBS has already crashed on me 3 times in the setup. He's had to have a reboot. I've had to reboot, manually reset all of my audio settings because nothing's cascading properly because Windows shrug. So when it says default, it's like some applications are using my speakers, some are using my headset. How it can have double default, I don't know.
We might get to somewhere where
Tim's temperature
at home can see my pretty face.
Tim's got 30 degrees out. Ooh.
Yeah, it's a bit hot in the old Germany at the moment, isn't it, Tim?
Stuff that. So then, mate, what have you got? Have you got your camera? My
camera is ready.
Your hobby.
If you want to go down.
Well, I haven't got it. Let me just double check. Last week, did we have to kill?
You had to kill it and then relink it, I think. Hang on, let me go again. I'll fix it from my end because I'm a fucking Chrome. Just go to the website I fucking tell you to go to. Yes, reload. I know I might have changes. Share my camera. I want the back-facing camera. That one. I want no fucking audio. And I want possibly the slightly closer one. No, that's the Pano one. So we'll go for that one.
Let's move these.
Pano on the Pano. There we go. That might work.
Right, everybody. So, David. Oh, David, what are you doing. Hello, Hugh. Welcome to the show.
Hugh?
Yeah.
Oh,
wait,
yeah.
Yeah. Don't go there, mate. Way too hot. Hark. So we're
Right.
on the
We have...
the Infinity Trail.
Am I live?
Yes, mate. You are up on the screen, or you should be.
So we have... Have you changed scene?
I have, for me.
There we go, yeah. So we have Infinity, and tonight we will mainly be highlighting white, taking it from dirty pale blue
Yep.
to this level.
Yeah, that was the one you did after stream last week, didn't you? Just
Yes,
show
it
me
was.
that. It's worked really well. It's a
And then
because I know
need to
the
decide on
wash
trouser colours.
step didn't go quite how you wanted it.
No, I will not recommend Soulblight Grey, because whilst it's like that in the pot, actually comes out more like that. Even when you shake it well for 5 minutes and have an agitator in it.
It's
gloss over that subject matter.
I mean, to be fair, it's a good off-white, but it's more of a beige than what you were expecting, isn't it?
It's warm, not cold, and I want it cold.
Yeah.
Then,
with the whole winter
this
thing.
week, for those in the know, we're going to have a little teaser for what I'm going to discuss later, coming onto your screen in 3, 2, 1, and they'll disappear.
Ooh. Not even I know what he's on with there. Right.
Did you not see them? Do you want me to go again?
I didn't, because I was setting up my cam, but that's fine. Everybody else at home will have seen them because they were looking at the screen and not faffing about. Let me
not trying to host a stream.
Yeah, let me just bring my mini cam on, and we can show everybody what I'm going to be doing. So if I get a chance to do any painting tonight, we're rocking on with our Infinity. So this is
what you got left to do, because we haven't had a catch-up in a while, have we?
I haven't touched a paintbrush this week. So
thank fuck.
Actually, that's a lie. Then. I did do probably an hour on this the other night when I was watching a live stream.
That would have been Monday, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I was watching
Blackjack Legacy.
No, Plastic Crack. They're a guy who do mainly historicals. They have a live stream, and I was checking them out. It's quite good, actually, quite entertaining. Tell you what, next week on the Plastic Crack podcast, I think it's called, they've got the Lovejoy, is it? The guy who developed Burrows and Badgers?
Ooh, right up your alleyway then.
I know. So, is it next month? I don't know if they do fortnightly, monthly, whatever.
A given time period.
Plastic Crack podcast.
Let's leave it there.
Just Google it. So here's my Oyama, who's the named samurai guy. We picked some colours last week, so I'm gonna basically do his base colours, finish them off if I can. Need to do red on his cape. I haven't decided about his katana cases. I can't really see how Infinity of Paint, the stock paint job on Infinity website is done with these, because they've posed him like that and like that. So you just get to see them end on. I think they've done them in a khaki green to match his sort of Hakama style leggings. But I can't be certain. But I'm going to go with that, I think. And I might mirror the red from his cape on the sword handles.
Yeah.
So, PCP's fortnightly. Thank you, Jerry. So
we already have guesses in chat.
What's this?
Explodey Plastics. Ricky knows what it is because I teased Ricky last night about it.
And then Jerry's just chucking all the TLAs out there. BAGOAKA. Jerry, what are you on about, mate? Nobody knows. So
Jerry is on about Bolt Action.
Yes.
Don't know the second one. Conflict 47 or...
Oh, it's a 4. My old eyes can't see. Let's go back.
Read the chat, Paul. Interact with your users.
I'm reading the chat, but I genuinely can't see.
Stop being old.
I need it in 40 point, like scrolling banner across the top. Then I'd be able to read it.
Or just get yourself one of them audio reading sets.
Yeah, or buy myself a 70-inch monitor.
That doesn't look very pale blue.
So basically, they're all the Warlord games that use those pin markers. So
Jerry has manufacturer on the dot.
Well, to be fair, actually, now I know what you've shown everyone. It shouldn't be too difficult. Gates of Antares. Actually, that's not Warlord anymore, is it? They've dropped it, I heard.
Stop being old, says the pup in the club. Come on now. Without me, it's a dying breed.
Bored. Shut up, Ricky. Right. So, I'm going to get some paint out, mate. Do you want me to go first with what we did at club?
Yes, because I actually can't remember what I did at club this week. let me get back to you in a little while. Oh, actually, no, I can remember what I did at club this week.
And you mock me. Jesus.
No, you full well know the reason why it was blotted from my memory.
Yeah, that's true. I'll leave it. So it's like a PTSD thing.
It's like going back to Vietnam.
Yeah, I get it. So I'll go first. As I said last week, our entire club was cancelled for the month of August, which is a total pain in the arse. So we went round a friend's house and did board gaming, and I played 2 brand new board games to me.
One of them looked fucking amazing, dude.
The first one is an old board game called Discworld, which, shock horror, is based on the Discworld IP. Long out of print. It was a good game, good fun, very quick. Even at 4 players, we were done 40 minutes. So
Jesus,
it was a really quick game, and essentially it's a simple premise. Each player gets a character card which defines their win objective, and then that's out of a stack of something like 12, and then that's a secret. So each player is going to a secret win con. Then each turn you play a card out of your hand to do some sort of effect, like place a minion token on the board, build a house, gain some money, remove an enemy minion, blah blah blah. Okay. So the main pitch of the game is to try and work out what each player's win condition is and race them or get yours off, but inhibit them.
Yeah.
See, Jerry, you are a Hello, Crispin. Welcome to the show. I've got a video just for you, Crispin, later. Jerry's full of useful knowledge. Now, I've heard of nanking or narking, whatever that is. I can't read it. Because didn't you do that on Tabletop? A playthrough of that. But I didn't realise that it was a reskinning of Discworld. That's really interesting. That's cool. And the second game we played was Creature Comforts.
Now that's the one that I saw you sent me a picture of, and it looked awesome.
Oh, fuck me. Natalie had backed the Kickstarter, so she had the Kickstarter version, all the wooden tokens with screen printing on them.
All the things, all the shinies.
It was probably one of the most beautiful board games I've ever played. In terms of table presence, the artwork is stunning.
And that is saying something, considering you love Everdell.
Yeah, I mean, the artwork was as good as Everdell, but the token quality, like I say, everything was wooden carved. It was all shaped, coloured wood, but then with screen printed detail on them. So the apples had screen printed green on the stalks and stuff. It was just so beautiful. Again,
shinies.
One of these point salad type games. Each player has to place workers on a board, gather resources, use them to buy comfort cards or build comfort cards which score points. Yeah, squirrels, lots of squirrels, Jerry. And then at the end of the game, you add up all your points. Most points wins. And it was really close. So out of the 4 of us, 3 had never played it before. Daniel came first with 107 or 102 points. Then Natalie came second, I think it was, with about 86. I was third with 84. And then Joanne came last with 70 something, I think it was. So apart from Daniel, who sort of got a bit of a fly out lead, the rest of us were all grouped around that points. And Natalie was the only one who'd played it before, because it was her game. But so if anybody's wondering, Creature Comforts apparently did go to retail after the Kickstarter, but the retail version, everything's printed cardboard tokens. There's no beautiful carved wooden pieces for all the bits and bobs. But I can wholly recommend it based on gameplay. The only thing that I would say, because everybody's turn is completely independent of each other, it can go long. The more players you add, the longer it gets. So at 4 players, we were 2.5 hours, something like that.
Oh, jeez.
So just again,
bear that in mind.
It's an evening's investment, but it's quite a satisfying game. And really, there's none of this. You can't block your opponent on worker spaces or anything like that. So it's really non-confrontational. Gives a nice, friendly. Well,
I mean,
yes,
not
Tim.
necessarily. Not necessarily. Some people play 40k.
Yes, Tim. But to contrast that with Discworld, the win conditions are like 1 player wins if the draw deck clears. 1 player might win if they control 3 locations. 1 player might win if they get 8 discontent counters or trouble counters out. So not necessarily. Some board games have very asymmetric win cons, but in the case of Creature Comforts, it's like, just do your thing and get the most points you can. Highest points is the winner.
Honey.
So I get your sarcastic remark, but no, it's not always the case. So that's what I did.
But you still bit. You still fell for the hook, line, and sinker. I did,
but I'm not going to let him get away with it. So.
Oh shit!
What?
That's a mini just gone flying. Bear with me.
You and your minis flying. So that's it. That's what I did on Tuesday night. And it was damn good fun. Shame not to be doing more miniatures, but you know, when the board gaming is good, one can't complain. And it's better to get a game with friends than not, I would say. I don't know how everybody else feels.
Yeah, I'm with you on that to a degree.
Because you were very lucky to get a game with some great friends on Monday, weren't you?
Yes, I was, in actual fact. So I played some Frostgrave. Now, long and short of it, we've had a couple of new starters at club. We've had one of the lads who's been away for a bit. So, oh, fuck off! Fucking Citadel painting handle. Hold on to the mini better. You can do better than this.
To be fair, Citadel can't.
Yeah, fucking tell me about it. So we had planned to play some Frostgrave with Max, the new guy, because he's mainly into his card games and stuff, and was going to try and dip his toes into the world of narrative miniatures games like Frostgrave.
Yeah. Did you lend him some minis, or
I would have lent him some minis if he turned up. This is where I was going down this avenue. So that was meant to be player 1, me, Ricky, and then also Jay, a lad from club who has been away for a bit and was coming back. Unfortunately, Jay and Max both fell out of coming to clubs, so it ended up being me, Jay, and an empty slot at the table, and our good friend Trevor decided to step in and help.
Because Trevor does like Frostgrave, doesn't he?
Trevor does like Frostgrave with his Frostgrave miniatures, Paul.
Yeah, that's they're made for the job, really, aren't they?
Yeah, I'm not being catty. You're being catty.
No, saucer of milk, table 3. Please.
So, started off. Ricky hasn't played any second edition, so Ricky was building his list. Built his list out, and I have basically a house rule of no more than 20 miniatures on the table when playing Frostgrave.
Yeah, you and I have both sort of arrived at that, having played some incredibly long-winded multiplayer.
Incongruous fucking multiplayer games.
Yeah.
So, all well and good in first edition, bring what you want. Second edition, there's now the rule of having a certain number of specialists, no more than 4. Then obviously 4 lackeys, and then your wizard and your apprentice. So me being me, with the no more than 20 miniatures on the table rule, say that basically you can only bring 2 of your specialists because we're all going to bring 7 miniatures.
I think that makes sense. I mean, you could argue, well, if everybody's bringing 4 specialists and hardly any grunts, does it matter? But
it matters when somebody tries to bring 4 archers to the table.
Yeah, I sort of get... I think it's not a bad call, to be fair, as house rules go.
So, we played the Phantasmal Treasure one, whatever one it was. Basically, there's a shit ton of wraiths, and every time, instead of spawning a random encounter, for those that obviously have played some Frostgrave, you basically just spawn a wraith, and the chances of spawning a wraith are better, and they're immune to non-magical attacks, and it's just a train wreck waiting to happen.
So Frostgrave on hard mode.
Yeah, Frostgrave on hard mode. So me, Ricky, and Trevor deployed all in opposite corners. We're going along. I play a summoner. My shtick at club is basically to annoy the shit out of everyone else and just cast Imp constantly. If I've got an opportunity to cast Imp, I will cast it and just throw an Imp towards the enemy warband. It's only a lackey, doesn't really matter, gets me XP, is a bit of a fun shtick, and I'm sticking to it.
Yeah.
So I started with that, and Trevor put some fog up, so I put it where there was a little gap, and the little Imp could see through it, and then Trevor had to cast fog to stop that, and we carried on like this for a bit. The creatures durdled around at the end of the turn, and then into the second turn, they durdled through the fog cloud, made base contact with a guy, and then rolled a natural 20. Murdering the guy instantly.
So the 3-inch high demonic Imp took out the fucking...
infantryman or man-at-arms, whatever it was.
Yeah.
Just delete. We all struggled with picking up the treasure because you have to make will rolls, and if you carry in treasure, you have to make a will roll before you take your action. Otherwise, if you fail your will roll, you move your movement towards the centre of the table, and if you get to the centre of the table, you drop the treasure, and then you can carry on as normal.
Nice to see a scenario using will tests, because as I remember it from the...
It's not very common.
No, it isn't. From the Frostgrave I've played in the past, you never did make many will rolls.
It's definitely a second-y scenario.
Yeah, definitely.
We had a lot of fun. The only player at the table that could actually damage and kill the wraiths was Ricky.
Yeah, with his...
Because Ricky had grenades. Everybody else at the table was packing the square root of F all to damage creatures immune to non-magical attacks. So that was a fun experience. Basically, game ended because everybody got off the table with 2 treasures each, and we just abandoned the center treasure because fuck it, it was a nightmare.
Yeah, because nobody could kill the raids. So that was not going to happen.
So, all in all, I earned 3 levels, so I went from level 15 to level 18.
Christ, you did all right then, because you got the maximum.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
And you did get extra gold crowns for getting the treasures for your efforts.
Yep.
So, swings and roundabouts. I got a grimoire out of that and some other bits and pieces. Oh no, I didn't get a grimoire. Actually, it was Ricky that got the grimoires. I got a shit ton of magical weapons and armor again. So I now have a ridiculous amount of loot stored in my base, waiting to bolt on to upgraded creatures and
Or you
fighters
just
and
sell
things.
it.
I could just sell it, but I'm a hoarder, as can be seen from my grey pile of shame. So therefore, I play Frostgrave like I deal with my real life.
Yeah, okay, so there's an element of game mirrors life.
Ricky got 2 level ups. I think Trevor got 3.
Okay.
But yeah, there was... Yeah, holy hand grenades, they seem to work wonders on the wraiths. Everything else was completely ineffectual. So it was a fun experience, and I'll definitely repeat it again. But maybe next time, make sure I'm packing some offense
To be
for
fair,
creatures
though,
immune to magical attacks.
I think
non-magical
it's
attacks.
a good sign that the wizards weren't packing a lot of offensive magic, because it's a good spirit to play Frostgrave in. If you
play it narratively, not competitively.
Well, yeah, again, it's just not very spiky, is it? Because I can play loads of shenanigans spells like that throw up fog banks or create mud pits, but I can't actually just direct damage to your face, you off the table. I think it's good that
the only other
none of you
annoyance
had that.
I had, and I did spot. So when I cast imp a second time, my first imp disappears. So
Correct,
that's kind of the shtick with me spamming it every turn, so that I don't fill the table up with a lot of little minor demons.
But it's a good way that it's balanced, isn't it? Because you can only have one
Yes.
instance of it in effect, sort of thing.
However, the likes of Wall and Fog, you can cast multiple times from the same spellcaster.
That is true. And then they disappear randomly, don't they?
Yeah, it is very annoying because somebody can basically smoke half the table out. Because it's only 1 in 5 times that they would disappear.
I think it's a different role. It used to be like Fog dissipated on a 17 plus.
No, it's now the other way around. It's now rolled low numbers.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
And then I think Stonewall was like more persistent from memory.
I mean, kind of makes sense. So yeah, that's my only comment of hang on a minute. I have an uncontrolled creature that's just wreaking havoc on the enemy board or whatever it happens to be, and yet somebody else can cast Fog like it's going out of fashion. Not overly fair, but okay.
Yeah, but to be fair, the Fog, because once they're placed, aren't they? So they're not really an asset that a wizard can use, and other players can just as easily scurry behind them to get out of line of sight of monsters and things. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't think it doesn't seem
too bad.
I mean, I've not played it probably enough to say, but it doesn't seem a massive problem.
But you've not played much second edition full stop, have
no,
you?
and I don't remember Fog and spells like it being a massive annoyance in first edition. And in fact, if anything, they were really good because it cut down on the effectiveness of all the bloody ranged everywhere. Because everybody could just...
I mean, it still does that, but if you've got
line
enough
of sight
terrain, you
and
can
hide.
just see over the top of it. Assuming you're not using halfling fucking miniatures in there for their tiny little bastards and you can't see them over the top of the fog cloud, even though you fucking should be able to.
But it's 3 inches tall, isn't it?
Yes.
3 inches tall, 1 inch thick, and 6 inches long? Question mark?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, 6 inches long.
Because it's one of those things I've always wanted to do is build markers for them.
Yeah, I'm going to do like
so handy to have
crystals for my wall and probably sculpt them in 3D and then make them available for people to buy / download.
Do it. That sounds an awesome thing to do.
So yeah, that was that.
Good to get some Frostgrave played.
It is nice to get some Frostgrave play. It's just slightly annoying that obviously I had planned it with 4 people and introducing somebody new to the hobby.
Yeah.
And that kind of thing, and then it all went a bit fucking how's your father and Pete Tong.
Yeah, that's the way it is sometimes.
It's the way it goes.
Have you heard from the lads about are they rescheduled or?
No, Jay's away for a bit, and
Okay.
I've got plans next week with my pano anyway.
Oh.
Because Ricky requires some pano to try before he buys. Yeah, Ricky has the same feels as me.
Which is what?
To be fair, though,
fog is a pain in the ass.
Yes, and also because we played in the same game, most likely. But this week, or I say this week, I mean, I want to say Wednesday morning at like 1 a.m. I went onto the internet and I bought some things. So if you want to go down to Minicam...
Ooh! So you're going to... Right, okay. David... Ding!
And we'll come up away from the table
Let me rinse my brush so I can watch along with the peeps at home.
The peeps at home. The peeps at home.
Tell you what I'll do as well. I shall puff on my pipe while you are... Oh dear.
God, you are getting old.
Yes, mate. In fact, actually, that's what I can do. I need to show off my birthday present from you.
You've got show and tell as well.
Because obviously, as everybody saw on last week's show, I've had my birthday recently, and the wife bought me an Arkham Horror expansion, the card game. That is my addiction. And David's present came to this week, so I can show everybody that.
So we bought myself some pin markers
from Warlord Games
for any one of the games at the top. Answers on a postcard, considering what I've been talking about lately. Where do I go next?
Hugh knows, because he commented last week that we've been talking the subject to death.
I also bought myself a little pouch of goodies.
What's
and
that?
This should
that's
hint.
Banging.
So the Allied dice bag for bolt action.
I like that. That's beautiful.
I bought myself some order dice. Now, the colours of these, for those in the bolt action know, should give it away. Maroon and blue.
Oh, is that a thing?
Yes. Because there's a little symbol on this instead of a 6.
Oh my god, he even bought the colour. You pimped,
and
man.
It's a Pegasus.
Okay.
Any clues, Paul? Any clues?
Well, it's got to be because
bought myself a rule book as well while I was at it.
It's got to be.
It's a rule book.
It's got to be either American Airborne or British Airborne. Because that's what that was the conversation we were having. I'm gonna guess British.
We have.
Is that a para?
The British Airborne Bolt Action Starter Army. All the goodies. All the goodies.
Sweet. So what do you get? What do you get in that?
Hang on, I'm going down to this
just
now.
show us the army list. It's on the box.
I will in a second. I need to empty stuff from the box because
Okay.
It's heavy and it's splitting. So, in the box, we get the following for 1,000 points. Second Lieutenant and one extra rifleman, veteran. An artillery FO, free because I'm British.
Yep.
10-man paratroop, 2 soldiers with SMGs and an LMG team. Another paratroop, 10-man squad with a soldier, SMGs and LMG team.
Yep.
Paratroop section, 8-man NCO and 3 soldiers with SMGs. A Vickers MMG, a light mortar team, a medium mortar team with a spotter.
Fuck.
a Piat team, a sniper team, a flamethrower team, and a 6-pound anti-tank gun.
Oh, man, that's good. How much was that?
43.
Fucking hell, that's good. That's good. I love
43 from Zartu.
I love the variety you've got in your specialists. You've got one of everything, pretty much, haven't you?
Yeah, pretty much.
Flamethrower,
The only thing I
machine
don't have is
gun,
any.
two
The only thing I
mortars.
don't have is any vehicles.
Yeah, well, it makes sense because they're airborne.
So we have 3-inch mortar and a Vickers MMG team in metal. Light mortar, flamethrower, and an anti-tank 6-pounder anti-tank gun, also in white metal. We have some large bases. We have some small bases. And then we have the sprues. So we have, I think from memory, British heads, Polish heads, heads with helmets, even a wounded guy, all the Denison smocks and everything else, the arms, all the extra weapon and gear, and I have that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times.
Crispin, I have not played it a lot, but I'm sure Jerry will chime in. I think the game is fantastic.
It's amazing. I've played one physical game with the club starter set with you when you were down here.
Yeah.
And then we've played a few very good games on TTS
Tabletop
while
Simulator,
I've been looking at getting into this. Because I've ummed and ahed about it long and hard, and we're going with British Airborne, and I am also going to possibly put in the Tetrarch light tank, because I have been that guy in that rivet counter and started looking at what vehicles I can take in a Horsa glider. I've also seen that I can get a Horsa glider from Sarissa.
Oh my god!
I'm contemplating buying for terrain on the table, etc.
Yes, Crispin.
Or to even run.
Yep. The random activation by drawing a dice is brilliant. It's an ingenious mechanic that can easily be adopted into any game you like, and it's brilliant. The other brilliant mechanic in the game is pin markers. So just that concept that if you can put pin markers on unit, it's as good as casualties, if not better. It reduces their effectiveness. It means that there are so many. The random activations and the pin marker system means that pretty much every decision you make is impactful. It's very rare in bolt action that I feel that I'm just like, well, I'll do this, but it makes no difference. Do you know what I mean?
Shout out to Morella for packing all my gear. But I also get these.
Yeah, I must confess.
The water slides. Oh, they are tasty.
But the thing is, you've also got your sleeve decals, haven't you, for your NCOs?
Yes.
I know.
And the medic decals.
Yeah. Because I must confess, I'm tempted to go back and use all the sleeve decals on my Japanese. Although mostly they are just collar markings. But they do got some beautiful touches to the kits. I know that the models...
And again, the rule book is just so gorgeous.
It is
like all
very
the
nice.
artwork in it, it's amazing. It actually seems also to be in quite good order from the quick skim I've had.
It's not... I wouldn't say...
It's not all over the shop compared to certain manufacturers.
I mean, when I was using my printed book and we were playing online, I wouldn't say that it was perfect. But
it is very rare that it is perfect.
No, the layout is fairly intuitive, and the rules are fairly concise for when you're using them. Go rule.
Rule of cool above anything else.
Yeah, just go rule of cool, Tim. I mean, as long as you're not doing anything stupidly misleading, like a guy
Don't,
with
for example, paint a crossbow man up and say, "Oh no, he's a thug or a thief."
Yes.
That is a little egregious. But anything else, fair game.
Because I mean, again, there's only you have a maximum of 10 models on the table. As long as you clearly tell your opponent what everything is, it's not difficult to keep track of what everything is. I mean, I've played Frostgrave with Burrows and Badgers minis that have got things like flintlock pistols and stuff like that.
That's been a beautiful game as well.
And, you know, people who play a lot of Frostgrave are used to people just coming at it with incredibly weird model ranges. So I think you'll find most players will be like, yeah, whatever, dude, as long as I know what it is.
Yeah, so long as everyone in your group and party is happy with it, then that's fine.
With Snap 2? What's that, Jerry? Snap 2. Do you mean the bubble roll on them? Or is that some other roll?
So yeah, all in all, second edition bolt action purchased. Now to paint second edition bolt action.
Let's go back to the main scene.
Which, oh dear, sorry, boys and girls at home. Which may cause headaches.
Well, you said you're going to go for a camo pattern, aren't you?
Yes, because I have to be authentic, and we are doing it properly. We are not doing things by halves. When have you...
No, you always do things properly.
Hugh's missus has just messaged me, stop showing off the gear I've bought, because Hugh now wants it.
Oh, yes. That is a very cool rule, Jerry. So when you allocate your... if you allocate an order dice to an officer, if the officer is within X inches of another unit, it can draw a dice out of the bag and you activate multiple units at once.
Yeah.
And obviously, depending on the officer's seniority, that bubble grows bigger, I think. So it's like 6
it's similar
or 9.
Similar to like the Fireteam-ish rules in Infinity for spend an order, but actually it affects multiple models rather than...
Another thing worthy of note, how long's the second edition rulebook been current, Jerry? 6 years? I want to say 5? So, you know, just as a counterpoint to these companies that release a new version of the rules or a fucking, you know, new edition every 15 minutes like some bizarre revolving door. It doesn't have to be that way. The idea is design a good game and it will last 10 years and nobody will worry.
First published in 2016, I've got in the front of my book.
Yeah, I thought it was around 6 years. Yeah. So, there you go. Can be done.
Yeah, you don't have to change everything every 5 minutes for...
Shall I walk away from that conversation before I cause upsets?
I mean, you'll only cause upsets to the fanboys.
True. That is very true. So I'll now you're done showing off. I'll show everybody at home.
I've finished waving my pretties around. Time to wave your pretties around, courtesy of me.
So I know it for everybody who's not a massive fan of Call of Cthulhu and HP Lovecraft. This is probably tedious as hell.
What? Another week of you talking about something related to Arkham Horror and Cthulhu? Who'd have thought it?
But just suck it up. I don't care.
Grow a pair and play the game.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
Sorry about the shine. It's not even come out of the cellophane. Ooh. So, Mansions of Madness 2nd edition. It's another Arkham. It's the Arkham Horror Files. That was what I was trying to think of last week. So Fantasy Flight Games call all of their Arkham Horror games a part of the Arkham Horror Files range. And Mansions of Madness 2nd edition is an app-driven board game with miniatures that falls in the same universe as their card game, the Arkham Horror card game that I enjoy so much. And I bought the core game at
UKGE.
At UKG this year, and
Because
David
it's the gift that keeps on giving.
and David bought me the Beyond the Threshold expansion set for my birthday, which gives me 3 new miniatures here in the bottom corner.
2 investigators and a bad guy.
Yep, and a load of room tiles, and I don't know how many scenarios. There is more than one scenario in this box. I'm sure I read here.
I don't know. I saw it. The price was good. I was like, I'm getting you that for your birthday.
I don't know how many scenarios it unlocks in the app, but I'm really looking forward to it. The only thing is, again, being me, I haven't yet played the board game because I want to get all of the miniatures painted, so that I give myself the most pimp of experiences before I do.
Put the Assassin's Creed down.
No, we're not doing that. We've started, so we will finish the old Assassin's Creed shtick.
Oh, Tim has shuddered because you've mentioned the egregious words of app-driven.
Tim, first edition Mansions of Madness was the classic format where you require a games master player, a GM player, to run the game, and everybody else plays the game. I think the app idea is genius, and I can understand. We've had this conversation before that you were the same. You know what happens when the 50 years from now and you can't run the app, but you will be able to run the app 50 years from now. It downloads to your phone. The APK file will be available on 1 billion file sharing websites in the future, and
because it will never be allowed to die ever.
And even if the Android system is dead, somebody will create an emulator. I mean, who still plays games for their ZX Spectrum on their PC? You know, to remind them of their childhood in the early 80s. You know, stuff like digital stuff never goes away. Somebody will create a solution.
Big brains out there.
So I wouldn't let it worry you.
I'm glad you liked it, mate.
Yep, it's absolutely pimp. And to be fair, an all Arkham birthday winner.
Well, the other thing was, I was thinking I might apply some pressure so that you actually get your Mansions of Madness and get some paint on it.
What do you mean, try running a productive piece of software from 1990 and today? I was playing Cruise for a Corpse on my PC using an emulator just the other day.
Yes, Paul, but you may be showing your age.
And that wasn't even a PC game. That was an Amiga game. And somebody's still got an emulator to run it on PCs.
What is this gibberish Amiga that you talk of?
Chaos? Is that must be an app-driven board game, Jerry, I'm guessing. I don't know it. Or if I do know it, I've forgotten.
I also have some willing victims, if they're still here in chat, for playing Everdell at some point in September. Q and his missus.
Oh,
so we'll see how that goes.
Yes, because they put you through the joy of playing Monopoly.
To be fair, it was pretty funny, because we did play the Cheaters edition, and it was just a barrel of laughs. But Laura, bless her,
I've not played Monopoly since I was a kid.
It's hard to convince somebody to join the slippery. Oh fuck! Mini drop
again.
Yep. It's hard to convince somebody down the slippery slope of miniatures games, but I'm slowly doing it with you. Honest, Laura, it's fine. It's fine. He'll be at club before you know it, and then you can have some peace and quiet on a Monday night.
Yeah, I think she's more worried about what money he's going to spend. To be fair, looking at the text you just received, the put your shiny shit away. Stop. It's like fucking the One Ring, corruption spreading.
I mean, I'm a really terrible influence because I'm terrible on Ricky. I'm terrible on Dan.
Yeah, you've got a soulmate in Jerry.
I'm terrible at you as well, at like UKGE. Actually, I was quite restrained this year.
I was highly resistant this year.
you taking your anti-David drugs before you came down?
Well, no, I think the trick was spend all my money on day one. Then he kept saying, "Oh, look at this. It's alright, I'm skint. I'm already skint."
Yeah, but dude, we were there for the weekend. It's an experience. You only do it once a year. It's the one week a year I get to annoy the shit out of you the entire weekend.
Oh dear. So yeah, it's a nice little haul. So bolt action. What are you going to do? Do that straight after your Infinity project? Have you thought much about it?
No. Yes, I have thought a lot about Infinity. I was still umming and ahhing about the Americans and the British when they were going into my fucking shopping basket.
But now you're committed. It's time to think about the painting, isn't it?
Painting's easy enough. I found about 4 different YouTube tutorials that I'm going to follow within an inch of their lives.
Chaos was a game from Games Workshop that came out on the ZX Spectrum. Ooh, Jerry, you have intrigued me. I shall have to seek that out. I tell you what I do remember from my PlayStation days was the bloody...
I've just got shouted at for calling Hugh's wife, not Laura. Sorry, Laura.
The Warhammer Fantasy Battles one. Die! Well, there's the sort of Warhammer Fantasy Battles sim on the PlayStation. The hell was that called?
I got no fucking idea what you're on about. This was before my time.
Yeah, Jerry will remember.
Poke the old people in chat. But yeah, I've seen a few different methods of painting the Denizens mocks. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do, so I might have to do a tester model or two.
Okay, does it look complicated, or does it
No, it's not. It's like slap Middlestone down, slap Refractive Green down, slap Chocolate Brown down, apply Agrax Earthshade fucking liberally.
Okay. That's cool.
So
it's quite a random
yeah.
Camo pattern.
No two pieces are the same.
Okay, that's good. Which I suppose is the idea of camo. But as long as the and is it like you literally just blob it on with a brush? Is it a very granular camo, or is it quite?
No, it's weird because it's quite thick and stark in places, like quite block colours.
Yeah.
But then it will fade to like semi-translucent. So they do recommend building it up with glazes if you're going to be that guy.
So there are different levels of it. I imagine you're probably going to go hardest mode possible because you are you.
No, I would never do such a thing, Paul. What makes you think that?
Actually, to be fair, what have you only got? About 30 infantry models to paint? Because I think you said
10, 28, 29, 30, 31, plus an MMG team, plus a mortar team, plus a mortar team, plus a Piat team, plus a sniper team, plus
it's
a flamethrower.
It's going to be over 40 by the time we finish.
45, 50.
Yeah, so enough to make it a job.
Yeah, enough to make it a chore.
Well, I did my bolt action armies in about 3 weeks each. So that's what we're expecting. Do you think, Ricky, 3 weeks for a bolt action army seems fair, don't you think?
Who put 50p in the cunt?
Jerry's trying to share a link, but doesn't realise Facebook. Listen to the old
YouTube
man.
links.
Face page. You book.
The internet
is a shit. I don't know if you can. I don't know. Maybe you can share links in chat when you're monetized or something. But I've tried it, and even as the channel owner, I can't put fucking links in chat. So unless there's some setting I've missed, but I can't see it, that allows the posting of links.
Blind.
If there is a setting that I've missed, please feel free to message me on Facebook or Instagram or something. One of the many social media
of his ways.
that can educate
Ricky,
me.
There's a door. Leave.
What? See, Ricky's with me. 3 weeks is plenty.
No, Ricky said 5 days.
Yeah, well, Ricky's a psycho. And if he's, I was just about to say, if he's doing standard German Krieg, it's easier, but he would probably do a fucking Fallschirmjäger army in 5 days. So I shall drop that before I even get buried in it. I'll walk away from that comment.
It's the Denison smocks. Yeah, I've done a bit of YouTubes and internets and lookings. Might be an excuse when I'm on my holiday in a couple of weeks to take the little one to Duxford, because they've got an entire para thing there, display for the paras in the Land War Museum.
It doesn't come up even blocked in my master list of comments, Jerry.
I'm not mentioning the war, Tim. It just is the war.
Just message me on the Discord server for OTT, Jerry, and then I can share it with a boy David here.
What, you like some sort of Denison smock dealer?
Apparently, that's the thing. I must confess, I don't envy you. Painting an entire army in camo, but I'm a coward.
Dude, don't talk to me about painting entire armies in camo. 10 mil camo guy over here.
Yeah, that's true. You even when you didn't have to, you fucking chose to. Psycho. What the fuck? We could paint tanks grey or green. No, I've got an idea. Digital camo.
Urban camo.
Yeah, but they're only like 10. They're only fucking 10 mil scale. Yeah, but you know. What's the worst that can happen?
It's fine. I mean, what's the worst that could happen? I could have used liquid mask instead of the sticky on ones, and then I'd still have issues getting it off.
Oh my god, yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Let's not talk about masking products that David will never be using ever fucking again.
Well, I said at the time that would be going straight in the bin if it was me. Is it a sore point still, or have you got it off?
No, it's still a sore point.
Okay, I'll leave it. So you wouldn't. What liquid mask was it?
Vallejo liquid mask.
And it wouldn't receive your endorsement as a good product.
I've used it before, perfectly fine. It just happens to be about 4 years old, and it's gone on fucking horribly.
So do you think that it's some aged or gone off?
Age could have something to do with it, considering it's a natural latex product, but ayo.
Yeah, that's true, actually. Natural latex does oxidize over time. But to be fair, all that happens when it oxidizes is it loses its elasticity.
Look, can we put the conversation topic down?
Okay.
I'm gonna end up having a nervous breakdown on stream.
Why? Because I keep resurrecting it.
I mean, it is on some undead minis, so quite apt.
Yeah. That's the thing.
Dad jokes for days.
Right. I'm quite pleased with that red.
Right, it's 9 o'clock.
I was just
Shall
going
we
to say...
Shall we talk about the gift that keeps on giving?
What's that? Santa?
David is hell-bent on making fun of old people, mate. You'll be old soon too, I know. I know I will, Tim, but at least I'll always have the encouragement that Paul will be older than me, and it is a constant topic of derogatory comments between the two of us, and the fact that he's ginger.
I'm not fucking ginger.
You are fucking ginger.
Fuck off. Funnily enough, my other half, Tim, Rosanna, she's also gets completely triggered by David constantly referring to me as old. If she ever watches a live stream, that's the first thing she says when she sees me after I've finished. He was calling you old again. I do sort of like have to say, yeah, but I am.
Comparatively, double my age, therefore old.
Right, let's move on to other things, people. Let's talk about some of the stuff.
Yeah, let's stop flogging the old horse.
Ooh. So, just a quick one, this one. I was watching some YouTube this week, and actually I think it was today. I lose track of the days, because I'm old.
This is the reason why it's a constant thing.
What's his name? Mel, the terrain tutor, did a video this week.
Is
and
it lava fissures?
No, his video today was a shout out. There is currently running a survey, the Great Wargaming Survey, sponsored by Wargame Soldiers and Strategy magazine. I know that OnTableTop tend to do an awards thing once a year, but this is more of a snapshot of people's gaming hobby and habits.
Is this like people's choice?
Yeah, so I took the survey earlier today. There of course will be a link in the description or comment section on this video when I get round to tweaking it after we've run the stream. So people anybody who's watching after the fact can click on that link and take the survey. I'm not sure how long it's open for, so don't hang about. Get in there and take it. I've got a feeling it's an annual thing, so I'm sure if you're watching this on YouTube many years distant from now, check. It's probably got a new... it's probably out again this year. And basically it asks you how old you are, when you started gaming, what games...
I mean, that's a slightly triggering question, considering the topic that led into this.
What sort of games you like to play, what games you don't like to play, what bits you like of the hobby, what bits you don't like of the hobby. So, as with any of these sort of like population survey things, the more of us that participate, the better. So, if I can encourage everybody to click on the link or Google it and go take the survey. It literally only takes 2-3 minutes. And let's all give them some information. It is annual since 2014, says Jerry. See, look, here is a man with his finger on the pulse, on the carotid of the industry. Or is it his thumb? I'm not sure.
I thought he was more trying to choke it out.
Yeah, exactly. That's where I was going with that. So, yeah.
It will tap out, it will!
Is this true, Jerry? Is he getting dangerously close to the bone? So, there's one for everybody. Please go and take the Great Wargaming Survey at your earliest convenience, and let's give these guys some data to work on. Because again, another reason that I would advocate people to do it is that I don't know, I'm guessing from the sponsor that they do get a large proportion of historicals people responding, but maybe not a huge section of the fantasy gaming community
or the sci-fi
responding. So if we can level that up a bit, it all goes to help. Yeah, Tim's already done it. I imagine you've already done it as well, haven't you, Jerry? Because you're that sort of guy. Finger on the pulse. This is another YouTube thing. Many of you are probably familiar with ZorpaZorp, however you pronounce it. This is the guy from Down Under who does massive, unbelievable terrain projects and set pieces.
What's he done now?
So I watched this video today. I don't know how old it is actually. Let me check. So I think this is a new video posted the 11th of August. So yeah, this is a newish video. Basically,
Posted today.
He's building.
Today is the 11th of August.
I've not been to work. I don't know what day it is. So if I can just run this video, basically what he's building is the city of Dol Guldur from the Lord of the Rings, and he's just basically trying to fashion it as close as he can to the set that was used in the movies, and trying to capture all of those scenic moments from the film. And it is massive. And this is, I think he said, 1/4 of the finished table. So this one, Crispin, is for you. I imagine you already know who this guy is, because your psychopathic tendency of making unbelievably huge terrain projects probably means that you know this guy's work intimately already. But for everybody else who doesn't,
he's not at that god tier.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I would never attempt anything I've ever seen on his channel. The things he builds are just way out of my
league, comfort zone.
Yeah, they're just way out of my league in terms of the scale. To be fair to ZorpaZorp, he makes things look ridiculously easy, and I don't think it's necessarily what he's doing is necessarily complicated, but it just requires a huge amount of organisation and a huge amount of work to achieve the results. But fucking hell, it's just amazing to watch somebody work on this other level. Yeah, I'm not surprised you know his work, Crispin. Have you seen this video yet? Mate, look, we've seen your stuff. This is bang up your street. You can do all this. It's easy. It's just a matter of scale, and you're not afraid of that. It's the scale that scares us mere mortals away. Although, to be fair, how you store an 8x8 table that's nearly 7 foot tall when you finished it, I don't know.
I mean, magic, leprechauns, all of the above.
Yeah, I mean, that is a fair comment, Tim, to build on his ridiculous scale, unless you're building it for some sort of design studio who's using it for a specific purpose and has acres, as literally a football field of storage. It's madness. But even if you just attempt something 1/4 of the scale, they're still massive projects. Yeah, that's what scares me, Crispin. The work, the hours, just literally carving bricks on all that polystyrene, extruded polystyrene.
Yeah, we know you're scared of doing terrain work, Paul. There's no need to keep reminding the people at home about it.
I feel bilious when I've got to paint my kill team set, let alone building that.
Is that finished yet?
Madness. Shut up.
Sorry, did I touch a nerve?
Yeah, you did. So, those are just a couple of quick ones for people that I thought were worth sharing. Yeah, pink foam is easy to break, but after he's covered it with modelling compound and bloody plaster cast rocks and all that other shit, it becomes pretty bulletproof, I imagine. But yeah, I mean, like you say, how you store it and play with it at home is madness. But even if you did something a quarter of the scale for a table, you could just produce some amazing things.
What's going on here?
Yeah, I mean,
is this working or not?
Yeah, I can clubs. Yeah, I can imagine how polystyrene terrain doesn't work well in a club environment. I mean, we had hard resin terrain from
GameMat.eu.
Yeah, and even that got cracked and chipped. And that
is now 3/4 filler on one corner.
You know, and that resin stuff from GameMat.eu is pretty resilient, but no, our club managed to chip it and crack it.
I mean, it didn't help what used to happen with the transport situation.
No, I guess not. But still, I mean, clubs are clubs. I'm not calling my ex-club out or anything. Clubs are clubs. If you know, everybody's different.
Well, again, at least we have a very good selection of terrain.
Yeah, I mean, and to be fair, all of the damage is easily repaired. Like David says, just whack a bit of filler in and then paint it grey and dry brush it, and it's a virtually invisible blend. Job done. And it's part of running a club, innit? Keeping on top of terrain maintenance and repairing.
Or actually finishing terrain, as you loved to point out on Discord the other week.
Anyway,
with them fucking buildings that I still need to finish the teddy bear roof on.
Shall we discuss the new game, or one of the new games?
Yeah, go on.
So, I don't know if anybody's heard of this. This was something that was at UK Games Expo this year, and it's a game called War on Terra. It's far future, like guys in powered battle armor versus greys, sort of aliens, if you like. Don't know much about the lore, but we did get to have a play with the game. I'll show you a few pictures, actually.
It was the minis that hooked, I think, both me and you.
Well, to be fair to these gentlemen, let me go back to the main scene. We'll share some photos of what they were running at UK Games Expo first, because to be fair to these gentlemen, they
did a fucking good job on that table, and they did a fucking good job on those minis.
Photo viewer slideshow, make it visible. Yeah, here we go. So it was the table that attracted our attention initially. Your video is breaking up. Why is my Discord throwing fits?
Why is my video playing up? Is that something that's an issue with my camera?
Might be. That's it. Whatever it is, you fixed it.
I literally just held my finger over the lens for a bit.
Okay. Don't know. So
not a clue. Let's try and square back up a bit, shall we?
Okay, Jerry, see you in a bit. So the table, as you can it's gone again, mate. Whatever's happened.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
I'll keep talking. You carry on.
You talk. I'll diagnose issue. I will diagnose fault.
The table looked absolutely amazing. They had these LEDs lighting everything up. It had a really good quality of finish on it. You can see the detailing, like the posters and that. I think they even had like these little LCD displays,
screens running like adverts
and things. The models were painted to a good standard, and I think the alien models looked absolutely excellent. I thought the human faction models looked good as well, but David wasn't as sold on them, were you, mate?
They left a little bit to be desired for me, but that's just my preference on miniatures.
I mean,
they seemed how they were sculpted and how they appeared. I don't know if you've got any close-ups.
Yeah, I've got a good one here.
Very close. Yeah, probably is my sensor overheating. Probably because it's 1,000,000,000 degrees in my room. I'm actually sweating. I mean, it's fucking still red hot outside. But the human models seemed more like they were sculpted at 6 mils or 10 mil scale, like DZC. They lacked detail for me.
No, I'll give you that. I mean, I'll be honest, as somebody who paints to play, I quite like that clean, uncluttered look.
Yes,
particularly...
it is clean and uncluttered, but there is better ways of doing it than making it look like it was sculpted for a smaller scale, then blown up.
Yeah, fine. I mean, as I say, I think David and I definitely differed. I love the helmets with the smooth faces.
Yes, and particularly that gloss black that you put on.
I mean, these are some close-ups of the minis here. I think they look quite cool. They're done very well. And the table looked absolutely fantastic. Thank you to David Wilson for these photos, as usual. Yeah, way better photographs of me. They had a tank, which again looked very cool. A bit basic, maybe. But
yeah,
I thought it was rather good.
I think that's probably more the style they're going for with them. Whether rightly or wrongly.
And then there's a couple of long shots here showing the table with the multiple levels and stuff like that.
The RGB lights in the hotel sign.
Yeah, it looked really good. So they did a good job on the presentation for the table, and that's what drew us in. So David and I went in and had a bit of a play and went through the demo game. Or they didn't really have a structured demo game, did they?
My camera's going mental again.
Yeah, don't worry about it, mate. Just we'll just keep going on, and hopefully it'll be okay. So they didn't.
Good evening, Michael.
Hello, Michael. They didn't seem particularly well prepared for a demo game, did they, mate? When we asked them about playing, they just grabbed a few random miniatures and sort of like said, "Oh well,
together.
We'll put them here in the corner, and you can sort of try out the rules." And we weren't that impressed with the game, were we?
No, and I think our biggest turn-off will come in a minute.
We do this in the spirit of offering constructive criticism, but I do think this game is going to struggle to appeal because of some of the aspects of the rules. One of the main things I'm going to see, in fact, let me just try. I did actually go on the website. Just bear with me a second. I'm going to try and log in, because to actually view the rules, you actually have to log into the website. They're not sort of public. Well, they are, but you have to create.
You need a sign up,
yeah,
kind of thing for advertising or whatever fucking purpose it happens to be for.
It's probably for newsletter or whatever.
Yeah.
Save it for this website. So let me just go back. Rules. Everything was going fine with the game until we were sort of like, we did basic movement. And
well, the best was the sheet had points values on it, what didn't it?
Yes.
Because they grabbed a certain amount of minis, the first thing I did noticing I was playing the Greys was have a look over at Paul's points value. And there was an extra what?
The models
there was
that they've chosen
points on your side.
The models that they've chosen to show us the game with didn't balance particularly well.
Nice, Michael.
There was a lot more. The points were loaded onto the human side, wasn't it, David?
Yes.
So,
and it's like the Greys will be all right with it.
this is the general rules section. So it covers all the usual things that you'd expect. Measuring, movement. There's a whole thing about models moving into other models and causing impact damage, which is fair enough, but not. Here is the first.
Stop being trippy, camera.
Here is the first of many reference grids. Okay.
Oh yes, the reference grid was another turn off, wasn't it?
So as we were going through the game and rolling our d20s and whatever, the first moment when David and I paused and looked at each other was when they basically said, and now when you roll to hit, you refer to this table, and I'm going to scroll down to it and have it on screen.
And because it was a... Was it D20?
It was D20, yeah. Okay. And immediately we were like, pardon?
The fuck?
So basically you have an attacking value and a defensive value, and then you cross-reference it on this grid, and that gives you your target to hit. Now, I'd be very interested to know what people think in the chat about going back to grids like this. I'm reminded a lot. Do you want me to just go to, like, do you want to kill your camera and give it a chance to cool down?
Can do.
Because the Discord, I can just display your sort of Discord image or whatever. If you want, it's up to you. Don't let me press you. I don't know if it'll make much difference.
I shall kill the video.
Yeah. Because it's your webcam.
Video killed? How's the audio?
Audio's still fine, buddy.
Good lad.
So, yeah. I don't know. What does everybody else think?
We are used to charts. We played DZC First Edition. That had a D6 based chart with the energy and other values, etc., going into it.
I mean,
but at least that was relatively easy to read.
I mean,
I found that chart with it being based on a D20 and everything having armor values, etc., up to like fucking 20, nigh on impossible to read. I mean, it was printed on fucking A4 paper as well, wasn't it?
I mean,
and it was still pretty bad to read.
It reminds me of the to hit tables in old Dungeons and Dragons, the basic red box set. And immediately I thought, this is an artifact of a time now long gone. I can't see modern wargamers putting up with this in a modern tabletop wargame.
We even came away from the table.
Jerry might have an interesting perspective, because I think out of all of us that are here, Jerry probably has more familiarity with historical systems. Now, I don't know if this is still common in some of the crunchier historical systems, but I think, yeah, okay, yeah. Okay. So Jerry wouldn't mind the chart, but he's statistically confused by it because the number patterning and maths on it doesn't make any sense. I'll be honest, I haven't looked at it that deeply, Jerry, and I haven't sort of like done a statistical breakdown on it to see whether we're going with the modelling. But it's just, as soon as they handed us this chart, and bearing in mind this needs to be done for every attack. And I'm just...
Every to hit, whether it be in close combat or in shooting.
Yeah, as far as I'm aware, again, close combat attacks and ballistic attacks both use this chart to hit.
We walked away from the table after and said, like, obviously, because probably the most recent experience we have had of a 2-hits chart like this is DZC.
Yeah.
First edition. And we even made comment on the day of, even DZC moved away from it to be, I armor, or dice roll plus energy, does it equal or beat armor? If it does, carry on.
Yeah, exactly.
If
So
it doesn't, go away.
I mean, they literally had a D6 system, and they took that chart out because it was like
It was horrible to read.
it didn't really fulfill any purpose that couldn't be mathematically modelled any other way, and it was just clunky.
Yeah.
So that was the first thing that David and I were like, we're not sure about this. And then, yeah, so even Jerry's saying, even historicals, it's a rarity. This is what I mean, Jerry. I can imagine it happens, but I imagine the games it happens in are fairly long in the tooth. It's actually a hit roll chart. So you've got the attacking hit, sort of ballistic skill, whatever they called it, versus the defensive value of what you're attacking.
Yeah, so everything had like a BS or a CC attack and had a rating of between 1 and 20.
So
and then your defense equally had a rating between 1 and 20.
Yeah, I see what you're saying is, Jerry, that the diagonal doesn't run logically. So like 3 versus 3 is not the same as 4 versus 4, same as 5 versus 5, etc. To be fair, if it was like that, right, Jerry's spotted the axis. You carry on in your own little world, Jerry. You can probably explain it to us at the end. And then, after that, there was one other thing that happened. Wasn't there, mate?
It came to armor saves, didn't it?
That's right.
We was told to put the D20 down and pick up the D12.
Yeah.
Or whatever it was.
So, it's a multiple dice system. So save rolls are made by using a single D12, right? I mean, I don't mind using different dice for different things, different number spreads. Everybody's got access to multiple dice. I would question whether it's needed, but I don't mind it. But the thing that I saw in the thing that happened next was an absolute no for me. Was let me see if I can find it here. I think it's here.
Fuck off, moth.
Rolling die. Here we go. Section 3.22. One compliment I will pay to their rule system is it's very wordy, but at least it's unambiguous. Having read a lot of it, if you follow it with a procedural logic, you can...
Nothing can be... There's no loopholes to explore.
You don't read something and then think, no, hang on, I don't understand, and read it again. It's clear. And there is repetition. They don't assume that you will assume that case A is like case B, except for this exception. They will simply restate everything so that there's no ambiguity at all. It's like, when you're doing this, you do this, and when you do this, they'll just copy the text across and then add the difference, so that there's no... so that's good. But then you get this additive and subtractive dice. So the way that cover works in the game is that you roll your D20 to hit, and then you roll a D6, I think it is, and that deducts from your total. So the variable for cover is variable. So you're
+6 or -6. It depends entirely on whatever, up to +6, up to or -6 or whatever it happens to be. Each time you roll a dice, it is not fucking consistent across the game. I.e., I'm behind. For example, Frostgrave does it really well. Hard cover, soft cover. If it's trees, foliage, etc., that kind of thing, or you're more than 50% out in the open, soft cover. If you're barely visible or tucked up behind a stone wall, etc., hard cover.
Yeah. And then you get -2 or -4.
2 or -4, or +2,
Okay.
+4 to the fight value of the defender.
So we in the game we played, we had these models armed with shields. So if that model was shot at in cover, you took off a d6 for the cover and you rolled another d6 for the shield. So when you rolled to attack, you rolled a d20 plus 2d6, and the 2d6 minus your d20. So one shot, the bloke with the shield could get a cover bonus of 2. The next shot, the bloke could get a cover bonus of 12. And
Yeah.
I'd be interested to know what other people think of that in the chat. Because I was immediately, I'm out. I mean, there's randomness, and there's randomness for the sake of fucking randomness. Whatever. I just don't, I can't even
You've already got your dice rolled 2 hits.
Yeah.
That is random enough.
I understand
adding a flat value, or even just rolling your d6 for your cover and then just saying having your shield is a flat +3 bonus, for argument's sake, wouldn't be as bad as a d20 less 2d6.
Yeah, but again, why make the reduction? Why make the bonus or the penalty random? I don't understand.
No, this is the thing. If you want the random, you're gonna have the random.
I understand
and
why we need randomness in miniature war games. If you don't have randomness, that entirely deterministic system is boring, because every time that model shoots at that model, the result is this. There is no variability. There is no chance. There is nothing. It's just like, well, 4 beats 3, so you take a wound, you're dead. And
deal with it.
I get why you can't do that in a miniatures war game.
It sounds like the 7th Circle of Hell. I've also noticed that some units have a changeable set of characteristics depending on their current wounds.
We didn't get that deep, Jerry, because to be honest with you, I mean, we weren't rude to the guys, and I wish them all the luck in the world, and we offer this as only as constructive criticism, because, I mean, what they've got is a fairly straightforward game, and I welcome anyone who wants to bring something new to the marketplace, but please, for God's sake, variable modifiers. No. And
the miniatures are gorgeous. That's the thing. The miniatures are gorgeous, and it was let down by that aspect. Flip side of that, you roll back a year to some people that we've already spoken about on stream, Scythopian Wars. It's got a little bit of everything in it, different game systems and everything.
This is a very good point.
But it plays fucking amazingly, and it feels how it should. Like, for example, when we were playing War on Terra, I had a grey deleter guy with splitting shots, had a grey deleter guy, but then the other grey shooting the guy out in the open because he had a shield, survived, yet the guy behind cover got fucking deleted and died. Hang on a minute, what?
Yeah.
With Scythopian Wars, there was the alternating activations, and the dice system itself worked because it was all d6 and all the same, and then cover, etc., was a flat +1, or whatever it happened to be. I can't remember off the top of my head because it was over a year ago.
I'll come to that, Jerry.
So, yeah. The miniatures are gorgeous. The board it was on was gorgeous. Some of the rules seemed very good, like the fact that you can have a unit of, say, 20 men and split it down as it's getting shot at to make it harder for your opponent to shoot it. So you can end up at a stage of this 20-man unit is now 20 individual one-man units, if you want to slow the game down.
When I asked the guys, what's your USP, and we're on to Paul's favourite topic again, he said that the unique selling point for this game is, as in Jerry's question, is designed to play the same at any scale. So 6 figures aside or 600 figures aside, it plays the same, which I'm not sure. I'm not sure how that's a thing, but still. And the other thing that they say is unique is that unit sizes are dynamic. So, as David's just said, I can't remember what the terminology in the rulebook, and I did read it earlier, but you can effectively have a 10-man unit where all the models are within coherency and associated, and you can then split them off so that they become 2 5-man units. So even though they're still next to each other, they have to be separately targeted, and they can shoot separately. Because when the unit is a blob of 10-man unit, it can only fire or attack one other sub-unit on the table, whether that's a unit or and it depends on how your opponent has set their sort of like coherencies up. And having thought long and hard about it, I can see that it's unique, but I suspect it's unique because I can't see the value of it. It seems that you would always just break everybody off into single models. It makes the game take 12 hours, but it means that your opponent can only ever kill 1 for 1. And it just seems broken and not useful.
Yeah, the fact that there's no like MSU of like the minimum squad size I can take, for example, is a 3-man squad.
Yeah.
For argument's sake.
Like David says, for me, it made me a little bit upset because Scythopian Wars had that issue earlier in the year where their Kickstarter didn't fund because there wasn't enough pretties and there wasn't 50 stretch goals, and people were like...
Speaking of which, did you see there was a Facebook post from them today about the fact that they've been away for a while, etc., and they're coming back at some point?
Yeah. I mean, they're going to give the people what they want. They've gone away to design a load of models and a load of stretch goals and a load of extras and freebies so that people on Kickstarter will go, all the toys! And for me, it's criminal because the game,
didn't need it.
It had a unique feel. It was slightly derivative of Infinity's ARO system, but it had the order
plus
dice.
Bolt actions, alternating orders.
Yeah, and again, it had that thing about like the almost like the bolt action down, where you can go down, but it brings your order dice out. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, because obviously you could react, but you had to spend the order activation on the unit to do it. So it then meant they couldn't do anything later. But it was clever. It was good. It played really well. And then they get to Kickstarter and people are like, what, I can only choose 2 factions? Oh, well, I'm just getting a starter box.
It's not got things coming out of the wazoo for it. I'm off. I'm off. I don't want this.
Where's all my custom fucking exclusives?
Where's me cool faction dice? Where's me extra bad guy?
Just fucking don't. So, I mean...
Speaking of Kickstarters, though.
As I say, let's just round this out. I do not want to give the impression that we are basically baseball batting these guys' dreams and hopes.
We wish them all the best.
I just want, as somebody with 30 years in hobby gaming, to perhaps say there are issues with the design, and I think that they're easy fixes and they won't necessarily detract from the game. And there is loads of positives. I think the miniatures look great. You know, even if the rules weren't this convoluted, I'd look at it just based on the minis. You know, maybe simpler is better. But there you go. War on Terra. I will put a link down below to their website for everybody who wants to go and have a look for themselves and check it out. There you go.
Shall we come on to the next thing that I spoke about to you earlier pre-stream?
Yeah. So
which is another game that is.
Let me just
multiple dice.
So this is what David is going to. He's going to tell us all about this because
I'm
I know.
I'm getting my laptop ready. Even
I know next to bugger all about this, except David sent me a messenger ping earlier this week saying, "Oh, have you seen this? This looks nice." And I haven't got round. I haven't got round to looking at it. Jerry, have you come across this one yet? Full spectrum dominance.
Lazy Forger with full spectrum dominance. So I was perusing. Well, I say perusing. I mean doom scrolling. I was doom scrolling Facebook earlier in the week, and I saw a teaser for some terrain that he's got coming out, and then I went scrolling through his website, and he has some absolutely gorgeous terrain tutorials, miniature tutorials, painting tutorials for several different things, several different scales, several different gaming systems, even how to make a bloody miniatures case and a repeating crossbow. But something that caught my eye was full spectrum dominance. So this is a game that you can play between 6 and 15mm scale because all of the miniatures and terrain, etc., are supplied as 3D prints, so they scale. It's currently in beta.
Yes,
beta
it says here the latest rules are available
0.13.
here. It is still in beta and might contain errors or inconsistencies, but they're welcome to have them pointed out.
The entire premise of the game is that it's combined arms wargaming at a small scale. So think your epic scales. You're hoarding over an entire army. If you want to go down to really tiny scales, i.e. 6mm, you can play an entire game on a 2-foot by 3-foot table.
Which is, I think, what they've got here in this display photo.
Yeah.
It looks like a 6mm scale game.
If you're playing at 15mm scale, they recommend 4 to 6 inches.
Now, this is the DU, because everything in the game is measured as a distance unit, and all that you do is agree what a DU is.
Yeah, so for example, it says here in the rulebook, a 6mm scale game, a DU is 3 inches, whereas at 15mm it's 6 inches.
And at 28 it would be 9, or...
Not a clue.
Does it not
It's
say?
recommended between 3 and 15.
Okay, so that's the scales they recommend for the game. Fair enough, mate. I should pay more attention in class.
From what I can see, the miniatures are gorgeous. The terrain is gorgeous. It's piqued my interest. I'm having a look at.
Do you know what? I could get into
rules.
This 6mm.
And basically, you have an activation dice of 12 and a AD capacity of 8, and basically you use your activation dice on either a card, either to bring it in, etc., unspent, and it's ready to use to activate units and perform actions, or you spend it and it's ready to be rolled in future rounds. There's an initiative phase. There's all that good stuff regarding it.
Is this what David's
I
talking
haven't
about?
looked too in depth into it because I'm getting to it, but it off the top of my head has D6, D8, D10, D12. And when you either upgrade and downgrade your attacking modifier or whatever it happens to be,
you just roll a different dice.
It goes from a D6 to a D8, or a D8 to a D10, or a D10 to a D12. D12s can't be increased anymore, and D6s can't be reduced any less.
Okay.
End of story.
Yep.
Everything is driven on like a little stat card for each unit.
Yep, they've got that here.
When you build it up, there is a point system, and for playing a standard game of full spectrum dominance, we recommend 60 points per side. In a game of 60 points, players have an AD pool of 12 and an AD capacity of 8, limiting 8 to the number of action dice rolled each round. In the case of different sizes of game, the AD pool size is 6 plus 2 for every 20 points or faction of it in the band.
Okay, so it gives you game scaling.
Yeah, the AD capacity is always 4 less than the AD pool.
Yeah.
So, for example, in a 20-point game, players will roll 4 dice per round with a pool of 8 ADs. On an 80-point game, the players will roll 10 ADs with a pool of 14.
Okay.
The miniatures look gorgeous. The terrain he's got, again, looks amazing. And the other really nice thing is he's got several different sets. So he's got like a fucking shanty town.
This is what.
He's got
Look
a
at these.
radar tower.
This
He's got all sorts.
Amazing.
It's fucking amazing.
Look at the little 6mm staircases and that on this terrain. These must be prints.
Jerry interviewed the guys earlier this year. He's on their Discord.
Ah, did you? What, on OTT, Jerry? Sorry, I can't see the chat when I'm scrolling through the web.
Yeah, I was just scrolling through as well. I was just going back. Jerry goes, full spectrum dominance. Lovely stuff and really interesting game. I interviewed the guys earlier in the year and I'm on their Discord. Have you played Saga? ? You can roll d6 and then allocate the dice to cards like on the battle board.
I have played one game of Saga, a demonstration game at the Diceni gaming convention in Norwich, and I fucking loved it. I have not managed to buy into it, sadly, yet.
Let's see.
But it is definitely on my list of things to do, Jerry.
Cameras cooled the fuck down, shall we?
So, in answer to your question,
right, I should be back in chat in a second.
You're good now, mate.
We'll see how long this lasts.
So, I sorry, to answer your question, Jerry, the use of the army specific sort of special abilities on the Saga boards, fucking amazing. Because the thing is, that's the genius. You see, that is elegant design. In Saga, it's a sort of like a medieval style game. You've got man with bow, man with sword, man on a horse, hard man with axe. And it doesn't matter whether he comes from fucking Norway or fucking Saxony or bloody Norfolk. They're all the same. So how do you make them unique? Well, you have a board with special abilities that are racially or faction specific. Boom! Genius. Beautiful, elegant design. Excellent game. Anyway, that's enough of me spouting about Saga.
I mean, again, even their file prices aren't too bad. You can buy a radio telescope for $7.99. A truss bridge with 12 design options for $6.99. A transmission tower, i.e. pylons, for $4.99, which I am buying for my DZC. So, Asian City, container terminal. There's loads.
Jerry's just said there that the combined arms thing is huge because you can build different troop types into it. Is it like building a platoon or a regiment with support, Jerry?
Finish building a Frostgrave. Are you on about the thingy Frostgrave set? The
Northern...
Not Night, is it?
North Star
miniatures set. The plastic injection molded 8 set. Because I keep looking at them and they're nice. The only thing for me is I'm very particular about my wizards and what I want to build and what I want to play. So I tend to buy Reaper shit or 3D printed stuff. Yeah, again, this is the other thing for me.
Yeah,
that
it makes
I'm thinking
sense.
Is if I'm printing this and playing this, I'll print and play this at 10mm scale. It will also therefore then go with my DZC. It will also then go with my Battletech. Yes, it is that set he's been painting.
That set's got a really, really good press, Tim. I'm not surprised you're impressed with them. I'll be honest, I haven't bought any of the North Star stuff for Frostgrave simply because I'm one of those awkward bastards who just loves to use alternate models for Frostgrave. For me, that's one of the biggest appeals. The first warband I bought was all metal GW orcs from the 80s. The second warband I put together was Burrows and Badgers models. And then my third warband is Dungeons and Doggies from Steamforge Games. But that's just the way I roll with Frostgrave. Anyway, David, back to you.
So yeah, my plan, if I'm getting into this, I'm particularly looking at the terrain because it's just a 3D printer's wet dream. And the fleshing out my DZC table, and while I'm at it, I might just take a dabble in this and see what it plays with. Because again, if I can get multiple uses out of my DZC table because it's at 10mm scale,
I love that idea. I love that idea.
I will be happy because again, it's a lot of money invested in the terrain set to sit there and only play one game. This is the one thing with me.
But at the same time, if you go 6mm, we can use all my epic models.
Yeah, well, you can have a 6mm terrain set. I'll have a 10mm terrain set, and then we'll call it quits, eh?
Oh! They do look fucking.
I love the little badly drawn opponent on the on the image. It's gorgeous.
These models look absolutely amazing.
Best is he's done a painting tutorial for them, and you can follow the tutorial if you want. It's all fucking dry brush.
I know. I do like painting 6mm stuff. This looks really good, mate. It's a good catch. I'm gonna have to check out your stuff, Jerry. I'll see if I can track.
I will
down.
also be over checking that out because it is something that has piqued my interest. Mainly, as I say, the terrain on this, and I've joined their Facebook group and other things. The terrain on this is literally divine, including the new stuff that he's teasing on his Facebook page. It is gorgeous.
Obviously,
but the
I'll put a
miniatures
link
as well for the set are look pretty amazing as well. I mean, from what I can see at the moment, he's only got 2 factions out. But
yeah, I was going to ask you that because they've obviously only got photographs for the 2. But again, don't get me started. This is Scythopian Wars all over again. If as wargamers we expect people to launch a new game with 14 factions, 6 sub-factions in each, like 40k, what are we on? 2 factions is fine. It gives you can play the game. And I'm sure if it's successful, it will get bigger.
Jerry's just teased. More is coming.
Yeah. This looks amazing. And they are going to Kickstarter with this?
No. This is all available on My Mini Factory.
So shit.
Right now.
So basically, rules are ready to go. Buy the STLs, get stuck in. Mate. Are all the cards like print and play PDF?
Yeah, all the cards are available in there. What's it called? They've got a Google Drive with a link in. So currently in their Google Drive for the better rules, there is the manual, the intro, and the cards.
Have you played it, Jerry? Or have you just literally done a chat with the developers? I'll come back.
There's
to...
seven pages of introductory scenarios. And it even gives you little training wheels on how to go through the scenarios and what to do, how to lay out your terrain, what cards you should use, that kind of thing going through. So the guys have thought of everything by the looks of it.
Oh, okay. Once the cards and rules are not beta, they will probably sell them, do a print pack or print run.
Yeah. Well, again,
that's cool.
That's no bother, is it, really? If
no,
it's a game
just
you're
nice.
into and you like it. And again, it's nice to see sculptors sculpting for a scale that's not 28mm and utilising 3D printers, such as resin 3D printers, for terrain. because they're not traditionally used for that.
No, but this level of detail, they'll be perfect for it. Apparently, a guy in Germany's doing a TTS mod, and that's going to be available.
Okay, that would be a good shout, because then me and you could play a couple of games and actually give it our full opinion.
To be fair, we'll have to look at what it costs, because I'd be interested maybe in getting you to print me a faction, an army.
Yeah.
Because I just love the minis. I love the minis. I love the idea. I love the terrain.
Again, their terrain sets are quite varied, because as I say, there's an Asian set, there's like industrial stuff.
Did you see the Innsmouth set?
No. Have I got to go have a look now?
I didn't want to dig too deep. I just saw it and thought, shit, are you serious? Let me see if I can scroll back up. Sorry to give people at home the EBGBs.
There's Old Medina, Tropical Hertz, Tropical Outpost, I can see. You can buy commercial licenses for
Innsmouth Town's Facades. Oh, okay, it's just one piece. So it looks like it's just one piece.
But again, the rates aren't too bad. The full army bundle, you save $16 by buying all the army together, and it's $39.99.
That looks like some amazing bits and pieces on here.
And I mean, okay, you've got print cost, and if you don't own a printer, going out and buying a printer or commissioning somebody to print stuff for you, and there's the resin cost.
See what Jerry's
so an army isn't going to cost. Yeah, I thought you'd see that one. And I know at the end of the day, an army isn't going to cost you the $40 it is to buy it, and then obviously by the time you've printed it and spent your time sorting it out and everything else like that, isn't going to end up at $40.
Did you see what Jerry's posted?
There's a 30. Yeah, I know there's a 30% summer sale on, Jerry. Don't fucking tempt me. My car insurance is due this month, and I've got to sort that shit out first, and then I'm going to see what I've got left to play with. Because speaking of Kickstarters, there's a Kickstarter that I shared with you at the weekend, and we'll get up to wrapping up the show in a minute.
Kickstarter.
King and Country.
Oh yes, yeah. We talked about that last week, didn't we? And we showed people the purdies.
The purdies from
Tabletop.
Printable Scenery.
Printable Scenery.
Printable Scenery.
I always get them and Tabletop World mixed up in my head, but they're very different.
Are only a week or so left. Rob someone. Yeah, okay, Jerry. If you hear of a bank robbery in my local area, you encouraged me. Is all I'm saying.
Okay, Jerry, you're making me nervous, mate.
The elderly are very easy. Fucking hell. I got to drive all the way to Scotland, though, for that.
Oh, dear. We're back where we started, mocking the elderly.
We've come full circle. But,
oh, dear. Genius.
Yeah, the King and Country Kickstarter looks very nice. It's pricey.
Is it?
Yeah, it's like nearly 80 quid.
For the all-in.
But I'm considering getting it because I don't own terrain for bolt action. And
I'll be honest, it does look beautiful. I mean, the way the painted stuff that they're showing off looks fucking amazing. I don't know who's
the best
doing
is
it.
he did that table, and he's done it through spring. I think he's done it through spring, summer, autumn, and winter to take the photos of it for the Kickstarter.
Yep.
By tweaking the trees, putting different clump foliage on,
hedges
swapping the trees
stuff,
out, etc. Hedges, barrages. There's a fucking stretch goals coming out of the wazoo like there always is with printablescenery.com. But they are nice models, nice terrain. I've had no issues with any of the printable scenery stuff I've done so far. I've backed
I mean, all
But,
that Frostgrave stuff you did for me was printable scenery, wasn't it?
yeah, I've backed 2 of their Kickstarters. I backed the Hagglethorn Hollow one, not that I've printed anything out of it, and I backed the Shadowfey Kickstarter. So they're very nice. And again, as Paul says, I bought the Winterdale Ruins, which was another Kickstarter. I bought select pieces out of that for Frostgrave to build a Frostgrave table up, and it paints up nicely. It don't really have any support issues or anything like that, and it all comes out all right in the end. All comes out in the wash. So yeah, I think that's about us done for tonight, isn't it, Chuck?
It is pretty much where we've made good time. Thank you very much for everybody who's here with us tonight. Thank you very much for everybody who joins us later on the rewatch on the Boob Tubes. If everybody can like the video and then do any of the other things shown on screen, that would be great. Every little bit helps to feed the YouTube algorithm.
That beast that just keeps on grinding.
And yeah, if you are watching this, what do you think of? Leave your comments about War on Terra. Are we being too harsh? Are we picking? Or are those things that would make you stop and pause if you were committing to a new war game? Do they sound like the kind of things you'd enjoy?
It was certainly a conversation topic that we said about after Expo, and I think we've covered it quite well tonight.
I mean, the other reason, to be fair,
particularly with the other stuff we was looking at Expo as well.
The other reason that I didn't make this the topic of discussion literally the week we came back after Expo was because it just looks like you're kicking somebody's shins, and I don't like to come across like that. I just thought, you know, we tried it and we had some thoughts, so let's share.
And again, no fault of the miniatures, no fault of the terrain. It was just the dice rolling system was the main grievance for us.
I think the reference tables for your determining success failure, I just think nobody does that anymore.
Well, the other thing is we like random. We play Wild West Exodus, Malifaux.
Yeah.
Where it's on a deck of cards and it's done to a degree because you know there's that red Joker in your Malifaux deck.
But the fact that you're applying a variable modifier to a variable value,
it's very random and very swingy.
And again, what I'm thinking of is because I mean obviously there's a lot of mathematics goes into game design. There's a lot of tedious maths that goes into game design that when you play it, you don't need to appreciate it. But having thought about it, I can't understand what that's there for. Why the maths requires that the modifiers should be variable, or what that adds to or does for the gaming experience. To me, it just makes something very random. And I don't get it. I don't know why you'd want it to be that random. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just seems crazy.
Yeah, I think Tim's hit the nail on the head with its hit and miss. There's good points and there's bad points to it.
You know.
And I suppose it comes back to everything. There's good points and bad points of every game. We could sit here and...
I mean, the guys... To come back to the guys, they had some great things. They talked to us about the models, and one of the things that they focused on in their models was like making some guys left-handed, some guys right-handed.
And crouching.
You know.
Actual like militaristic poses rather than...
They tried to avoid epic scaling, and they tried to make the posing more lifelike.
Yeah.
Which is stuff that's a bit lost on me because I don't study miniatures with that sort of eye, with an artist's eye. Ironic for somebody who paints as much as I do, but it's true. I just don't pay that much attention. I paint to play.
Yeah.
But I mean, so they've obviously got some good ideas. and they've obviously put a lot of thought into it. I just think that they've maybe turned into a bit of a cul-de-sac with some of the rules design. Anyway, Jerry's off. Thank you very much, Jerry. And I think we better call it as well.
Yeah,
so
we'll have a good evening, and we'll see you same time, same place next Thursday.
Yeah, everybody have a good week of gaming.